Thank you for being with us. So after the short break, we shall be looking at a different question I want to ask you. We've talked about the e-pharmacy. Now, as we look at the situation at hand, pharmacists are complaining of lack of jobs. Okay, and I know that for a fact because I'm a member of the welfare committee of the ESU, and we usually see these complaints coming in. Even the fee to supervise retail pharmacy has significantly dropped. Okay, before it used to be like 1.8, 1.5, now it's 1.2, and the rest. So now I want to tap in that smart brain of yours to look at the various gaps in the pharmaceutical sector that you think pharmacists could apply, because being here at NDA is involved with the drug aspect, and pharmacies is all about drug. And when you talk about the e-pharmacy, somehow along the line NDA is wrapped into it. When you talk about pharmacovigilance, drug safety, somehow along the line NDA is wrapped. When you talk about pharmaceutical supply chain management, somewhere along the line NDA is wrapped. When you talk about policy, regulation and advocacy, somewhere NDA is involved. When you talk about research and development, you're researching on the new drug and all of that, somewhere along the line NDA is wrapped. So somewhere NDA is involved, whether we want to accept or not. And you've been in NDA for quite a long time, and I believe you know where these gaps are, and especially to the young pharmacists out there that are looking out for job opportunities. They're looking at for gaps that have not been taken up yet, where they can get a niche, So please give us some highlights.
Yeah, really, there will be highlights. I won't go deep into that because that bit can, I know, be best explained by somebody else. But this will really be just an insight or something like that. Yeah. One, I know there are quite a number of sectors or areas where pharmacist roles can be very well appreciated, but I think we also need to appreciate that probably certain things are not as well developed in our current circumstances as Uganda, as for example if you compare with some other relatively well developed countries, and still just look at our system here. But I think the first thing would be, one is just like the baby grows from birth, probably not being able to see, they can see it, then walk, and then walk, and then lots of things. It's the same thing like with any profession. Start somewhere, be willing to learn. Okay, be willing to learn. You may not get where you want to be overnight, because now a few things are cropping up. There are aspects in, I know people are getting into supply chain, people are getting into this. There are all those probable areas. But the key thing is use each bit of where you are as a form of learning. Whether you started in the community, we all started in the community, but get to know that. Skill yourself. Look up tools that, invest in yourself. In whichever way. I don't have to do what she does. I probably can't do it as well, but try to figure out if it's for you. It's for you. Learn from others, people senior to you. Listen, and you'll get there. But the key thing is trying to know your trade. Don't just sit back. Update yourself with whatever is happening, and when you're given an assignment, at times you may be told to do something and it may not be your liking, but give it your best. You never know. That's where an opening may crop up. So, but generally, it's not. I don't want to say it's an easy thing or it's a very difficult thing, but if you look at our settings as just a country, and not just by the pharmacy profession, in many of the other professions, you'll find that certain areas are not very well developed. For example, let's just look at clinical pharmacy. If you're in a very different place, clinical pharmacy is very broad. You can go and look up in each area and do that. When you come here, you'll find that maybe there's limitation to that. So then you have to think of how best can I, there's research, there's training, there's all other aspects of vigilance and things like that. But the key thing is ensuring that you tool yourself. Don't wait for people to push you. Just have the mindset or mentality trying to be a better professional. And we know that we're a growing nation, and there are areas that keep cropping up. Try to get into that. Was it last year? There's a pharmacist who's gotten herself interested in something climate. I forget, and I'm like, okay. Then I asked them, so what are you doing here? And they're like, oh, I think there's this, I'm now volunteering. But somewhere along the way, something will probably crop up in that area. So my view is more, let's have an open mindset. Let's be keen to see the openings that are happening in various places. And I know we'll get there. And obviously, from the strategic side, be it the society, schools of pharmacy that are coming up, I know they will also be looking at, because now if you get into aspects of research, I know about 3-4 universities now that we have, all these will be open for pharmacists to come.
Okay, here we have it. Members, please type in your questions. Let's attend to them. Here we have John Mark. John Mark is asking, is this webinar being recorded? Yes, John Mark. Yes, please. This webinar is being recorded. We're going to edit, and I believe in a day or two, it's going to be on all our social media platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You do well to follow us. Then Michael is asking, Dr. Tamale, in that aspect, what is your take on drug shops that are operating beyond their provided guidelines? He has not emphasized.
No, it's okay. I think I get it. Yeah. So ideally, we maybe just give just a bit of update that for those that are working beyond the scope, we usually take enforcement action. I think from October to December, and I think little bits of early this year, we actually had enforcement activity within what I call Kampala and Wakiso, mainly targeting drug shops, and the number of drug shops that we founded regarding that, and it's an ongoing thing that we have to keep doing, because we keep getting reports. I don't want to call them isolated, but being more like CBD, it's a bit of I'd say challenge. Is something that it's always running after people. But we're doing our best to ensure that our enforcement teams and our surveillance teams are on the ground to address that.
Michael is also asking, what about drug shop upgrading to pharmacy and instantly they move 200 meters towards existing pharmacy? So he's asking, what about the drug shops that upgrade to a pharmacy and instantly they move 200 meters towards an existing pharmacy? Yeah.
Okay. I know you quoted it just a little bit wrong, but there's I needed to get the regulation here. Is that I think in the regulation there's a part where a drug shop that's intending to relocate, not upgrade, because as you realize, the minimum area for a drug shop is 4 square meters. Then you'll find that those that were willing to upgrade probably got a new place, but I know it's not 200 meters, it's a bit less than that. Someone wanted to upgrade and they will get the premise that meets the minimum 20, then that location will be granted based on that. Yeah. So there's, I think, just something just like the distance he mentions. I think it should be less than that. Yes. And it's not like moving towards an existing pharmacy, but when you're relocating, because just like for any pharmacy, when you're going to set up, you say 300 meters. However, if you're relocating within a radius of 200 meters, it doesn't matter whether you're going to be 10 meters away from the next. It's more like just like that, the principle.
All right. Simon is asking, talk about the regulation of telepharmacy.
That's provided for.
That has been talked about, Simon. I think you were not paying attention when we were talking about the regulation of telepharmacy. And Simon is also asking, if a drug shop is willing to upgrade to a pharmacy, but it does not meet the space requirements, what are the distance guidelines on this relocation?
I think it's something that I was talking about just a little earlier. I think what we'll do is we'll try and still ensure that people get to these regulations and the guidelines, current ones. Yes. But they needed to be very accurate. I think I'll share and then we'll ensure that we.
Okay. Christine is asking, should existing licensed pharmacies be encouraged to run e-pharmacies?
I think there's a bit of choice there. You can't force.
I think that's up to you, Christine.
Yeah.
If you have the capabilities to run an e-pharmacy, you can as well dive into it. So,
but then you have to first make sure that you apply to the authority to make an assessment and stuff like that. You don't just set up and then we provide the guidance on how you go about it.
Princess is asking, thank you so much for the information. Do retail pharmacy pay taxes?
Yeah. At the end of the day, I believe retail pharmacies are either companies or partnerships.
Yeah.
And then they'll, like any other company, they have to pay taxes.
All right. Do we have some more questions here? She says, if yes, what's the difference between trading license tax and operational taxes? I think
Let me just try maybe just to get people up to speed. Is that one, the aspect of trading licenses and operational licenses. Now, what NDA will give, if you're running a pharmacy, NDA will give you operational licenses. Okay? Now, if obviously you are not a pharmacist, you will probably, they call it the local government or whatever, if you're compliance KCCA, you need to have a trading license, because you get licensed by somebody, and that will be the local authority that in your area of operation. Okay? So for example, if you want to set up a shop selling clothes, you need a license, isn't it? That's the trading license that you'll be have to be given. Alright? However, once an entity has been licensed by a government agency, which in this case is NDA, then they do not need to pay for the trading license. And I think there's been a judgment ruling regarding that. There's been guidance given by the Attorney General regarding that, and I believe, and I know these are available with the Secretary of the Pharmaceutical Society of Uganda, and then you can access these. Yes.
Okay. There we have in Princess. We have Moses. Moses is saying, what is your say about wholesale pharmacies doing both retail and wholesale without both licenses? This is a new one. Without both licenses. So
that's
this is a new one.
Yeah, but that is wrong.
This is a new one.
Yeah. That is wrong, and obviously if we find such, we'll bring them to book.
Okay. Okay. George Ziwa is asking, what are the boundaries or provisions for a retail pharmacy? For a retail what? For a retail pharmacy run. Can a retail pharmacy run a small CBC in its space machine, RDT?
I think the thing that I'm getting from the question is whether pharmacists can have labs within
within a small, like having a small space for to run their RDTs and
stuff like that. Yeah, we've been. I know someone I think has asked us about that, and we are trying to actually look into it. We want to be sure that people are doing the right thing, because as you realize, I know if you run labs, those I think are licensed by usually different entity, not NDA, all right? But also you're trying to look at other aspects of practice so that people don't end up doing irrational stuff. So we're looking at that, and we'll be providing guidance regarding that soon.
So George, you have your answer to that? Now David is asking, does the enforcement team have to move around with guns? Okay, that's quite funny. I'm not supposed to laugh, yeah? Okay, does the enforcement team have to move around with guns? It always scares our clients. Sometimes the community assumes that that particular pharmacy is doing something wrong, even when all is okay. Dr. Tabale, this is for you.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah. Now, maybe just to let you know, the enforcement team does not move around with guns, but the enforcement team moves around with police, and this is just really. I think we've said the police, and we know what the purpose of the police is to maintain law and order. But maybe just to explain why, so especially when you're carrying out enforcement activities, that we beef up our team with police. One is for the security of our staff. We've had various incidents where our staff have been targeted, yes, by people, pelted with stones, been fought, especially during such. So, at the end of the day, it's not that, and I don't think you've seen these policemen that move with our enforcement team being hostile to anybody or anything. No, they're really there just for the security of our team and ensuring that whatever activity goes on, you know, in a calm manner. So it's not that they are trying to intimidate anybody. We see these policemen every day. You pass them every day with guns and all that. But really, the reason we have them with our teams, especially during enforcement activities, is that at times we get lots of resistance. At times we get to premises where people actually also have guns, and we've had many incidents where our officers and our inspectors have been attacked during this, yes. So just that for some of these you never get to see, but at the end of the day we are here to serve and it's important. So, but in the event that maybe you ever felt intimidated or there's something real that happened because of the policemen, you let us know. But the most, and I think we've seen most of the operations that have happened, the policemen are just there doing their duty as prescribed by the law.
All right, David, you have that. The police are not there to intimidate you. They're just there to protect the drug inspectors that are carrying out their duties. Yovan is asking, are pharmacy assistants suitable to work as pharmacy auxiliary staff? And can they be accepted during licensing renewal or new license application? And are they legalized to supervise their drug show? Thank you.
Yes, as long as they're allowed to supervise their drug shops, because these pharmacy assistants are getting registered by the Allied Health Professionals Council, and I think we'll note that within the hierarchy of pharmacy, I think operational staff, you have the pharmacists, you have the dispenser, and now the certificate holders, the pharmacy assistants. Yes, so those, yes, they can supervise their drug shops. And we'll be providing, we periodically provide guidance regarding cadres that have been recognized, and we'll keep doing that.
So, let's see the next question. So Florence is asking, can we have clinical officers as pharmacy auxiliary staffs in retail pharmacies?
The answer is no.
That no is so blunt.
That's no, please.
It's a flat out no.
Flat out no.
So please, it's a no. You cannot have clinical officers as pharmacy auxiliary staffs in retail pharmacies. Hamza is asking, there is a letter circulating about loading and offloading fees to pay to local government from Solicitor General. I'm asking about its authenticity.
Well, I'm not sure whether I'm the right person to ask, but I saw it somewhere and I shared it with our legal team to look into that and check. Yeah. So that one, I believe. I think we should also bring it to the attention of the Secretary of the Pharmaceutical Society regard to that. But we'll also be letting people know about that. Yeah.
Okay. So Hamza, you have your answer. We are going to be looking into it. And George Ziwa is saying, thanks so much for this info. Now about e-pharmacy. George is really interested in this. Anyway, does an existing pharmacy running a WhatsApp business or TikTok have to ask for NDA approval?
Jesus Christ.
Obviously, you need to, because I know I've seen some pharmacies advertising on TikTok, and I think when I saw it, I think I just alerted somebody to tell the person to really stop that, because I mean that's a form of advertisement.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think you know the yes.
Okay,
yeah. So it's not right. So we have to be cognizant of the I think ethical considerations
Did they
regarding
stop?
advertising.
Did they
I
stop?
hope they did. Not that I don't spend the whole day on TikTok, so I don't know that they stop. But just giving you an example is that obviously when you're seen peddling, I'll call it medicine, because when you say running a business, it means you're trying to sell something and stuff like that. Then you have to be mindful that you're not caught on the wrong side.
Okay, Monica Nagawa, Dr. Monica Nagawa has raised her hand, and yes, Dr. Monica Nagawa. Yes, Dr. Monica Nagawa, you can unmute. Okay. Okay. Dr. Monica Nagawa, please note that your hands are up. We've given you an opportunity to speak, but you're not speaking. I have a question here from Daniel Spiller. The question goes: some wholesale pharmacies that are registered as wholesale operators retail in some cases. In brackets, they sell some drugs on retail basis to patients, unknowingly to NDA. Nowadays, patients go to retail, explain their condition, get the name of the drug they want, and go to wholesale to obtain them. Is NDA following up with this issue, and what punishment can they get?
Yeah, okay, I think we talked about that a little earlier, where I said that fine wholesale pharmacies retailing, and really we're trying to find ways of how we really minimize this happening. But yes, we've taken note of that, and we're doing our best to address it.
And Hamza is asking, why do applications for license take so long?
Oh, wow. I don't know how to. At times, there it could be due to a multiplicity of issues. One could be on the client side. Two could be on our side. But I know, for now, I think you're all aware that we're running a new management information system known as IRIS, and we are no longer running the previous one, that is DAMIS. And a number of people are still yet to get interested in getting on board, but I believe this is slowly being addressed. That's on our side, but maybe to those of you who have not maybe gotten time to come get your logins or communicate to us on the logins, because when it comes to renewing your licenses or applying for any variations, all that is going to be done, or is being done in the new management information system. So my call is to everyone to try and ensure that they have their logins set up. Please get in touch with us so that we facilitate this, but we'll do our best to ensure that the turnaround time stick within the SDTs that we have.
Okay. Stuart is asking, have pharmacies started offering family planning services under the CRP DDP or not yet?
Probably not yet, but there's something ongoing, because I think they are trying to. I hope it's the same CRP. Yeah. It's ongoing. I think they are, what should I call it? Oh, the word has disappeared from my head. Yeah. So it's the process is ongoing because they have to. I think we've already had discussions with the ministry and the implementing partners. Now the issue was on, because it's not every like pharmacy. I think there's going to be start with a bit of a pilot bit phase where pharmacies are selected, and then I think they have to meet certain criteria. So I think that's the process that's still ongoing. But we'll ensure that maybe periodically we give some form of update so that people are aware of that.
So there's another question here. It says, Dr. Tamale has explained the issue of licensing, double standard, and he also gave explanations of change of regulations or drug shop upgrading. I have, however, seen situations where these explanations seem not to fit. An example is in Namasoba, where Ninisha Pharmacy has been operating for long, only for another pharmacy called Guild Pharmacy to open up opposite it in a premise that was formerly a mini supermarket. What other explanations are there? Asking as I am eager to take advantage of the same.
Yes, Nathan, thank you. And I really try to be pretty clear with my communication. And I think this is what I said at the beginning, is that one, at times it's important that we have the facts from our side. For example, when a person applies for a pharmacy, they will apply for a specific pharmacy. We'll come and inspect based on the application, for which we will give either an approval or a rejection. So if we give an approval, and this is where I was saying, for example, if we come and give an approval, somebody who has applied for a wholesale pharmacy, my duty as NDF for now, I've issued you with the license, maybe for a wholesale pharmacy. But then we have to also keep doing surveillance, support supervision, and stuff like that. Which is, may not come to a pharmacy every day, all right? But this is now how we probably get to find out that the person who was issued with a retail pharmacy is wholesaling, or the person who was issued with a wholesale pharmacy is retailing. So now, that's the aspect now we have to deal with. And I think that's the aspect we are dealing with, Hassan. Because that's why I'm saying that at times, the person will say it's double standard, and then I use the word alleged. Because from your side of the road, you'll think I've done something else. When I get out the facts, I've done what I did, but the person who was issued with the license to do something is doing something else. And this is now where we start taking action. Obviously, we'll come back. We are already investigating this issue, and yes. So it's not that there's anything you need to take advantage of, and no, but I think the facts are clear, and we are looking into this matter.
Okay. So you don't want us taking advantage of nothing. It's okay. It's okay. Jivan Abraham says, hello doctor. Thanks for the clear elaboration, sir. Kindly inquiring why pharmacist resignations take long to be complemented by the new system, as there is always an await of manager's approval. Are there clear guidelines for doing these things?
I think that regards resignations, and just maybe to let you all know that there's a process of through which we handle the resignations, and at times it's based on a number of parameters. For example, do we have the right information? Because at the end of the day, irrespective of the fact that we are regulating this, we also have to have the right information. Based on what I would call experience, is that at times you may rush to do something and then the real information comes out. However, we are trying to ensure that we we get to activate these resignations within time. For example, and just to state, a person will just write and say, I've submitted, is it effective? What do you call it? Immediate resignation.
Immediately.
Now, we've found with time, because we have processed, we have to write maybe the closure letters. Now, you'll find that a resignation has been submitted to the National Drug Authority, but the proprietors don't even know that the person has resigned. All right? Then, so there are usually a number of things. That's why we usually request, when pharmacists, please be a bit more thorough with the information you're giving. Now, I know there could be aspects, there are a number who are honestly are resigning because of probably various areas and stuff like that. There are things we try to do quickly, but at times we will not just rush to take action if we do not have full information. All right? But we do our best. And obviously, with the system changes, we are trying to ensure that the speed has gone up, but please also be supportive in ensuring that you provide adequate information to enable us make quick decisions.
Okay, so it's 1 minute to close on time. I'm going to take just one more question. Sylvester Chizito is asking, some pharmacists face a problem of businessmen who don't want to pay and just simply keep on switching pharmacies without settling debts. Would there be a way to make an integrated payment system managed? Okay. Managed by NBA to which pharmacies can pay, and that no pharmacy will be assigned a new pharmacist without clearing them. These are your people, by the way.
No, they're my people. And what I was smiling is that, you see, when it comes to, there are certain practice issues whereby, okay, thanks for that, where we really have to work closely also with the Pharmaceutical Society. Please, guys, don't forget that the PSU is your home, where we all need to work to see that we really mitigate this issue. Because yes, we are also getting, you start seeing certain patterns with certain pharmacies whereby they're playing games, and I also don't want to see a pharmacist really being disadvantaged by these people. So it's something that the profession have to see how to, and through the help of PSU do it. And just to let people know that irrespective of the fact that NDA is quite involved here, it also has its limitations, especially with some practice-related elements. Okay, so we just need to work together, professional body, and see to it that we try and make sure that pharmacists work in the same environment.
Okay, I still have some people asking a lot of questions, and it's based on issues of payment. Do you still want to?
Maybe just like 2 more questions.
Okay. Robert is saying, greetings dear Dr. Tamale, well done. My question is, do I have to open up an AMIS account for my pharmacist and also incorporate him or her as a director?
That depends. Your question has kind of like 2 elements. Robert, I know you're a pharmacist, and let's say you employ a pharmacist. Now, the IRINS account would be for the pharmacist, because that's the person who's going to do the work. Who's going to be the in charge and ideally the responsible person, unless you are going to be your own pharmacist for your place. All right? So it's your pharmacist who has to ensure that they have an IRINS account. Now, when it comes to the aspect of incorporation, I think if you read the law, it says one of the directors must be. Now, if you, the owner, is a pharmacist, somehow that provision has been met. Okay, but that depends. Not that. No, but that depends. But you can still also incorporate it. But that provision of the law has been met by virtue of the fact that you as an owner or director.
Okay. Michael is asking, POA will be submitting an intervention on how owners are held on issues of payment. Okay, POA is Uganda Pharmacy Owners Association. All right, when they do, we will be waiting. So I have someone whose hand is up. Yes, Kalikumuti. Deal. Yes, doctor. Yes, please. Yes, please. We can hear you.
Sorry, I joined the call in the midnight, but I have followed the comments. This is I just want to say thank you very much. Dr. Jamare, I hope we can do this more often because the more we have there,
Yes.
the better for people. People are choking up with issues, man. I'm sure you have had their issues.
True.
How can the FDA help pharmacies are closing around the story?
Yeah.
People are frustrated. People are contemplating suicide and it's avoiding around. So you as government takes up how innovative can it be? I'm glad we talk about the innovation. We want more something. We will be having a meeting soon and we'll give our proposals and we hope that you will take them seriously. We'll also be reaching out to pharmacies. We remember since meeting declarations and proposals are not happening. Now, I have a question with the requirement for pharmacies. We have raised this issue before. I don't even say that is in the law. But our proposal that we're going to share with you, we are actually going to that requirement is part of this. Having a pharmacist as a mandatory director part of pharmacy and our resources. But briefly, what is your take as your work with the very do you honestly maintain and believe that the pharmacy this is not about the pharmacy supervising on the incorporation of the pharmacy. That's why I felt I should bring it to this forum. The one which is very, very high. But I think we are from you. And I want to tell you that we need to have more of these dialogues. As I'm glad Hassan is here, I also my colleagues are here. We're going to be reaching out and just address that one issue.
Okay, thank you. I may not address it what I may call summary well because I believe the number of aspects to be looked at. But I think what I'll try to bring up is and I think it is section, if I recall well, 61 of the National Drug Policy and Authority Act, the one that talks about vicarious liability and stuff like that. And I think this is the one which tries to, should I call it, either suck in the pharmacist who's now he's been interpreted as a director, so that there's I think degree also of like responsibility and stuff like that. So for me, I think my take on this, because I know it may not be extensive, and I know I'll look you up and we discuss this more, is the key thing on responsible person, that at times, as we're all doing, we're trying to ensure that professionals are actually doing their bit, and that in the event certain things go wrong, how do they remain liable and stuff like that. So, because for example, from the NDA side, at times we get into pharmacies, we find certain things going wrong, and to be honest, probably the professional has no clue whatsoever of what's happened. But then at the end of the day, you're like, the license is being issued with the person as pharmacist in charge and things like that. So for me, my feeling is that I think we need to holistically look at this and discuss this more. And again, and as I said, since we are engaging, we look at this pragmatically and see the way forward. But that's my take. This is just like a snapshot text, but I think this is something we really need to discuss. And I think we do have an overdue meeting, isn't it? Upo and NDA and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe our time is up. I want to thank each and every one of you that have, created time to be here to join us. Thank you for the engagement, Dr. Tamale.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much
Thank you.
for giving us your time.
My
Women
pleasure.
in Pharmacy of Uganda, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And this is it for us. Our time is up. Thank you once again. And stay blessed. It will come your way. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.